Good morning, Mistralton City. Quite literally good morning because I just woke up. So, my name's adamew, the coach of your Mistralton City Mews, and welcome to the NBBL Summer Scramble or NBBL Summer Brawlfest. This is an off-season tournament that Nova is holding between seasons of NBBL since the Season 6 just ended. This is kind of the uh event in between, so yeah. Now, NBBL Summer Brawlfest is a bit more of a unique draft league. It's more of a tournament than anything. So, in this tournament, coaches will draft teams of 8 Pokemon instead of the usual, 9 to 11 Pokemon that you might be used to, especially, for NBBL. After the draft, the coaches will get put into pools of 5, where they will battle every other coach in the pool for a total of 12 battles. Whoever goes 2 and whatever, they will advance to the bracket stage. So, if you win 2 games, you advance to the bracket stage, and yeah. That is presumably a single elimination tournament, and people will be competing for a cash prize. So, yeah, that's kind of the background on this. I've never really done money tournaments before this point. I guess the closest thing I did was a speed tour circuit in a server called UDL, and I won that, and I got a free month of Discord Nitro. So yeah. I really want to see if I can win this, since this is the first proper one I've done. So, let's get going on this. So, there's the rundown, and going into the draft of this, I had 9th pick of 10 people. So, while the battle pools are divided up into groups of 5, the draft was divided into groups of 10, which is very, very blessed for Paldea X draft. So, I thankfully did not want to jump off a building after round 4. So, that is, that's great. So, this being 8 Pokemon, and the pool size being 10, and also the budget being very generous, this made this draft very, very fun. And, well, not really that fun, but it made it a lot easier to plan than a standard 16 coach Paldea X draft. So, yeah. But I had 9th pick of 10, so I was close to the wheel, and I couldn't really get what I wanted first. Ultimately, the options were Terra Zarude, Terra Tornadus Therian, and Terra Raging Bolt. And I opted to get Terra Tornadus Therian as my first overall pick. So, obviously, while I considered those options like Terra Zarude and Terra Raging Bolt, I felt that securing Torrentee was so much better. I played a lot of Paldea X drafts in my time, and I know from experience that having a good 120 plus speed tier is, these things are at a premium, and securing one this good this early is great. So, Tornadus Therian is a very, very versatile Pokemon. It's able to run utility with U-Turn, Taunt, and Knockoff, run setup sets with Nasty Plot and Bulk Up, and has great coverage to support that, having Heat Wave, Focus Blast. I was about to say Focus Wave. So, yeah. I'm keeping this blooper in. I normally am scripting these, but dyslexia can lead to some funny bloopers. So, Focus Blast, Heat Wave, Psychic, Dark Pulse, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Terra Blast to take advantage of Terra, and it gets Hurricane and Bleak Windstorm for stab, but it can run Terra Flying Terra Blast if it wants a 100% accurate flying type move. Aside from using Terra to get an accurate flying move, it can use stuff like Fairy Steel or Water to get better defensive capabilities, and it can run an offensive Terra type to get coverage it might need. So, yeah. Very, very excited to use this Pokemon. Torntea is always something I've wanted to try in a draft, but I never really got a proper chance outside of Speed Tours. So, yeah. Sorry, my phone is blowing up. So, with Tornadus Therian, Torntea is a very safe pick, and I wanted to pair it up with another safe pick, which is Iron Treads. So, Iron Treads is one of the top Rapid Spin Pokemon and top ground types in Paldea decks, and, well, also Nat decks too, but yeah. Iron Treads, very, very good Pokemon, and it offers a lot of roll compression with Knockoff, Stealth Rock, and Rapid Spin all rolled into one neat little bundle. So, I've sung my praises on Iron Treads' utility, but this thing isn't all utility. It has surprising offensive capabilities. It gets access to Stab Earthquakes and Iron Heads and Heavy Swims, and it has more niche options with Steel Roller and Steel Beam and high horsepower. This thing does not lack for coverage. It has Ice Spinner, Mega Horn, Stone Edge, Supercell Slam, Body Press, and Zen Headbutt. And as a result, this doesn't really have much issue being able to threaten teams with super effective damage. Aside from all of that, it can pivot with Volt Switch, has Endeavor for lead stats, and yeah, it just has a lot of offense, solid bulk, and just a very, very good Pokemon. I've had my history with Iron Treads before. It was on probably one of the worst teams I've ever drafted, and I've just not really kind of clicked with it. But this felt way too good to pass up here because I needed to secure a good ground top and a good rapid spinner early. So I won't have to rely on stuff like Blastoise or Tentacruel falling back to me, as we saw how well that worked out for me in WPF. So, with these more like kind of utility geared Pokemon, I wanted to get something that was a bit more substantial on the offense front, and I decided to take Roaring Moon, returning from my WPF Season 16 Defense Division team. So, Roaring Moon has a huge base 139 attack stat and base 119 speed stat to give Torrent some company. And this thing can hit hard with Stab Outrage, Dragon Claw, Knockoff, and Throat Chomp, and it has great coverage with Earthquake, Acrobatics, Brick Break, Iron Head, Fire Fang, Stone Edge, and Zen Headbutt. All these moves can become more deadly when powered up with Dragon Dance and Booster Energy, particularly Acrobatics. This thing can also heal itself with Roost, pivot around with U-Turn, offer Disruption with Roar and Taunt, and while some may call this Pokemon mid, I really, really love this Pokemon. It offers great offensive capabilities for this team, and I mean, having Roar and Taunt is also nice. I think I ran this thing defensively to check a Chi-Yu in WPF because my water type was a Quillfish. So yeah, this thing, while offense is the reason I drafted it, it can run bulk. It doesn't have bad bulk. I think it has like over 100 base HP and SPDF, so like it's really, really solid bulky. But something that's more solid bulky is my next pick, and this is a Pokemon that I've never really drafted before, and that is Pecharunt, making its debut on my teams. Pecharunt has a massive base 160 defense stat, which will allow it to be a very, very solid defensive piece that can support my offense very well. So Pecharunt's move pool is really, really shallow, so this probably won't take that long to go over. Its main method of attacking is Malignant Chain, a 100 base power special poison type move with a 50% chance to poison, and also Confuse by proxy due to its ability Poison Puppeteer. It can use Shadow Ball and Hex to take advantage of this 50% chance to poison, and Malignant Chain, as a result, can kind of force people to run Covert Cloak on their Pokemon, really being in company with just like Skyman for offering this kind of prep pressure. So yeah. However, aside from its attacking moves, Petrarch offers a lot of good utility moves with Parting Shot to lower offensive stats and pivot out. It can use Recover for healing, and then Destiny Bond and Curse to have some surprise KO options, or just surprise chip options, and it can use Nasty Plot to set up itself. So I love Petrarch on this team. With Treads and Roaring Moon, we have a bit of a fighting type weakness, and having Parting Shot access can allow me to enable Tornadus Therian or Roaring Moon to set up, or just like break the game open in the mid game. And also, Petrarch serves as a rapid spin blocker, and it's one of the best in the format due to its defensive profile. So yeah, this will help ensure that Iron Tread's hazards can stay up, and yeah, this thing is just a really, really good support piece for the team. And now, I want to go to another annoying piece. We got Alomomola. So we have Torn T, Petrarch, Alomomola as a defensive mesh. This is like very near to finishing the dream of this team, which is getting Torn T, Petrarch, Alomomola, and then Ogerpon Cornerstone. So yeah, I had my friend Ryan and Ditto hit me up with a team, and yeah, I managed to get a lot of stuff on it, and hey, still executing the plan on this. So while Petrarch and Tornchi are annoying on defense, having a Alomomola really pushes that thing over the edge. So while this thing looks passive on the surface, Alomomola has a massive HP stat. I think it's base 165. And although its defenses are nothing really to write home about, with that HP stat and Assault Vest, this thing is very, very bulky on the physical and special fronts. So, although its HP stat is massive, speed stat not so great, which is really, really solid for this thing because it can use that base 65 speed to slow pivot into Tornadus Therian or Roaring Moon to get those things in for free. Aside from that, Aloe has Skull, the Whirring Voice, and Mirror Coat for like attacking options, and then it has a Wish and Healing Wish for heals for the rest of the party. I think I'll be relying more so on Healing Wish than Wish in this, but yeah. With Torn T, Petrarch, and Alomomola, I feel like my defense is pretty set. I can take on most things, and feel like getting like more solid offense and like just other utility pieces is going to be the main goal of this draft. So I mentioned Ogerpon Cornerstone earlier. Well, guess what we got next? We got Ogerpon Cornerstone next. So returning from the NBBL Championship team, and I guess I'm gonna have to share the Ogerpon Cornerstone with WPF. So it's returning from the NBBL Championship team, and hey, if you watch NBBL, you know what this thing can do. It has stab, rock type, heavy cudgels, and power whips that it can use to hit super, super hard with the Cornerstone Mask boost. And aside from that, get stuff like Play Rough, Superpower, and Stop a Tantrum to hit like steel types and stuff. It has Spikes, Knockoff, Encore, Taunt, U-Turn for utility. And yeah, this thing is just super, super annoying for teams to handle. And yeah, I'm glad I get to use this thing again. My backup pick for this was going to be Ogerpon Hearthflame, and while I do want to try Ogerpon Hearthflame and think it could have worked on this, Cornerstone is just a more comfortable Pokemon for me to use. Having Sturdy as its ability makes it super, super, super good for lead sets. I don't know how many supers I needed to add there, but we're keeping it in because it's the blooper, baby. But it's alright for lead sets. And yeah. This top 6 really, really solid, and I don't really think I would want for much more. So the next two pieces are going to be kind of remedial pieces and trying to get as much utility as I possibly can from the last two pieces. So first up, I got Klefki. I noticed my team was a bit weak to Meowscarada, and having a Steel Fairy type helps out a ton with that. Klefki also gets Prankster, Light Screen, and Reflect to help facilitate Tornadus Therian, Roaring Moon, and Ogerpon Cornerstone to set up. It gets Prankster Thunderwave to slow things down. And it can use Calm Mind and Iron Defense to set up itself. So, yeah, Klefki, super solid option, and it also gets Spikes alongside Ogerpon Cornerstone to help out with my hazard stack. And I felt Klefki just slotted in very nicely to this team. And while I'm not sure this last Pokemon slotted nicely into this team, I needed a good normal type, and I was not about to get Chansey, so I got Ursaring as my second Terra Captain, giving me a normal type to check like Spectrier and Dragapult, which it can do a really, really solid job on, being able to block, or being able to not really block, but discourage Will-O-Wisp sets with Guts. And Ursaring has the offense to threaten those things back with like Throat Chop. I think, does it get Throat Chop? I think it gets Throat Chop. It's like Throat Chop, Earthquake, Elemental Punches of like Fire Ice and Thunder Punch, and it can also use Facade with Guts. So yeah, gets solid options, or it gets like okay options. I wouldn't call them solid options for utility with Taunt, Yawn, and Body Slam, but Ursaring's more about its offensive capabilities, and I felt like this was just a better pick overall than Chansey, because I want to be able to switch into ghost types, and I want to threaten them with something. Chansey can switch into ghost types, but she can't threaten any. So Ursaring gives me something to threaten ghost types with. And yeah, that's the last Pokemon on the team, so that concludes the draft for NBBL Summer Scramble. I'm happy with how this team turned out. Like, I'm really, really happy with how this team turned out. This has an abundance of pivoting options with U-Turn Torn, Roaring Moon, and Ogerpon, Flip Turn Alomomola, Parting Shot Pecharunt, and Volt Switch Iron Treads. This allows me to play the way I really want to play, pivoting around, using offense to break, and using crushing defense to just grind opponents into dust. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get to play the way I want to right now. So yeah, for this league, there will probably not be any weekly battles. I'm going to try to get the battles up as soon as they happen. Obviously, we need to record team builders and stuff, but trying to get the battles up as soon as they happen. And yeah, you can expect 4 battles for this sometime between when this video goes up and the first week of July ending. So yeah, that will be all for me today. I hope this thing turned out alright. This is really my first time. Well, not really my first time. This is like me trying to get into the groove of scripting things. I'm trying to go for a mix of scripting and winging it, so that way my commentary feels genuine and not forced, as it tends to do whenever I'm scripting stuff. So yeah. But at any rate, guys, that'll be all for me today, and I will catch you all whenever my first game happens. Peace.